So if you look at the world today, if you may have a Nest in your home, you may have an Amazon Echo in your home. If you're lucky enough to own a Tesla car, you can actually track your Tesla car over the internet. Basically, more and more appliances are becoming fundamentally internet connected and intelligent in ways that really make our lives better, safer, make the world safer, help with climate change, help with saving costs, help with better healthcare, etc., etc. And all this comes from the fact that today we can, at an unprecedented level, sense, embed intelligence, and control the environment. And that is called the Internet of Things. The groundwork for that, it really goes back 50 years, and the Jetsons sort of were already talking about it. But today, if you look at, for example, sensing, a lot of the groundwork for that was set in the Auto ID Center, because the Auto ID Center took sensing of identity. That's really what RFID and barcodes do, sensing of identity, and we made it universal, inexpensive, and now with that technology we can also do sensing. One of the other things the Auto ID Center did was we said stop doing stuff on the chip if you can do it on the cloud, in the cloud. And that's another thing that's happening. That's the interconnectivity of things. So the Internet of Things is here to stay. It will go through its ups and downs, but when we look back on our lives in 10 years, pretty much anything you do, you'll look back on a day when it wasn't connected, and you will sort of wonder how life was then. So for example, if you play tennis, you will come home from your tennis game, and you will review how well you middle the ball, how many revs you put on your backhand topspin, all that on your cell phone, because your racket's going to talk to your cell phone, right? Your car is going to be Uber connected, so if your teenager borrows your car, you can see how fast he or she drove and whether they went to a party they weren't supposed to go to, which is, and at the same time, your car can make an appointment with the dealership if it needs a replacement part. Order the part, look at your Google Calendar, set up an appointment. So on the way home, you drop in, they put the part in, and you drive home, right? In healthcare, already today, and much of this is already happening. When you weigh yourself, you know, the weighing scale is going to talk to a system and give you a sense of whether your ambitions with the diet are panning out. And similarly, in hospitals and elderly care, especially with the vast numbers of baby boomers coming up for retirement, we will see a tremendous new level of facilities for people to both for you know, the kids to watch over their loved ones, but also for the elderly to receive better support to live more full lives with systems that sort of adapt around them. You know, systems that, for example, if they're not well, the doctor knows, the nurse knows. Systems where if an elderly person needs a ride in a resort, you know, an autonomous vehicle shows up, picks them up, takes them somewhere. It's going to be a transformative experience, and IoT is going to be a very fundamental part of the world in 5 to 10 years. You know, when we start connecting things, we enable a level of resource management, a level of marshalling of the planet, of what the planet offers us, that is unprecedented. I mean, look, even just in this room today, in this building, there are probably hundreds of rooms that are burning electricity that should not, that are, you know, heating when there's no one there. But if you knew that the person's, you know, still driving and there's no reason to turn the heating on, just imagine how much energy you can save and what the impact is on the planet. We have a long way to go, a long, long way to go before we can get all this straightened out. And it all comes down to our level of information. When we have little information or no information about something, we overcompensate. And we burn more electricity, more energy, and we're doing damage to the planet. So to me, saving the planet is sort of an existential question. And we have an enormous amount of work to do that. You know, I, for example, would love to take public transport into MIT, but my schedule is so uncertain. But if I had information precisely where I could be picked up, when, you know, how I could get to the station, and if I could be made seamless, I would do it. I really would. And I've tried it. But if the convenience factor went up, more and more people would use public transport, and we're much more likely to reduce our energy footprint on the world. Healthcare, you know, imagine the number of lives that are lost just because you can't get a doctor to them in time, or you can't get them to a facility in time. The opportunities are endless. So we have a long way to go. We have a 50, 100-year runway. Now, with any new technology, there are also risks. And there are two, I think, big risks with the Internet of Things. The first and most fundamental one is privacy. If I have a Nest thermostat in my house, that's great because I can turn the heating off when I'm not at home or the cooling off. Or if I'm off on vacation and I forget to turn it off, it can detect that I'm away and can turn itself off. But on the other hand, if someone can use that information to mine my travel patterns, that's not so pleasant. Especially if they can use it to, for example, sell me something, and it's a little creepy. So we need to have some protection, some defenses in place. But an even more scary thing to me, or equally scary, is security. So if in fact my Nest can tell the wrong person that I'm not there, that increases the risk of theft and burglary. But in sort of an extreme version of that is if a malicious party can claim control of a nuclear power plant and do something really nasty there, then you can cause great damage. And this is the great fear with the Internet of Things. So my research deals with balancing the two. In fact, what I'm finding in the Internet of Things is a lot of folks are adopting it, they're moving fast, but they aren't thinking about this, and they think they can bolt on security after the fact. And that is a recipe for disaster.